The first time I put on one of Mummy's Hermes scarves after she passed, I realized I became her. After the momentary shock, I felt comfortable. It was as if Mummy had never died. I smiled and then went to find Jen. I had taken all of Mummy's clothes after she died. I had her svelte figure, although it is hard work to maintain. Jen simply wouldn't put the work in, so I don't understand why she was always so bitter about us. Mummy and me. Anyway, we were always trying to celebrate her curves and be body positive. Dear Mummy kept up with the times. Jen said we should sell the clothes on eBay and split the money. She was always so vulgar. I took all of the clothes. The Chanel suits, the Givenchy dresses, all beautifully kept. Jen was in the kitchen. Obviously. She was bent deep into the fridge, her ample behind the same width as the fridge door. The scene physically pained me. Jen, are you eating before dinner? I asked. She straightened up and whipped around. A bowl clattered from her pudgy hands. God, Samantha, she yelped. Then she looked closely at me and whispered, Mummy? I said nothing, just looked steadily at her. Her eyes flickered to the scarf knotted elegantly at my neck, just like Mummy used to knot it. That's Mummy's scarf, she stated. I sighed. I don't think there is any actual correlation between fatness and stupidity, but Jen's tendency to state the obvious made me often wonder. Jen continued, it's the scarf, isn't it? It's manifesting Mummy in you. I replied, Jen, have you done your workout today? She gasped. Then she said, almost pleadingly, please let me try the scarf. I know I won't fit in her clothes, obviously, but I want to try the scarf. Maybe if she's in me, she'll stop bothering me about my weight, she'll understand what it's like to be me. Please don't touch my things, Jen, I said. Jen leapt towards me with a cry. There was no contest. I am a slim, delicate woman, and she is not. In less than a minute, she ripped the scarf off my neck and was knotting it around hers. I felt Mummy leaving me. I reached out to Jen from where I lay on the kitchen floor, winded by Jen's attack. Jen, don't do it. She hated you, please dash. It was too late. She was pulling the gleaming flowered silk against her neck, tighter and tighter. I saw Mummy in her eyes, widening with disgust and horror at inhabiting the fat body of her loathed daughter. Then her eyes began bulging as she pulled even tighter on the scarf. No, Jen, stop, Mummy, I cried. It was over in 2 minutes. She drew in her last ragged breath and then slumped on the floor, falling sideways next to me, her face blue and distorted. The scarf vanished into the rolls of her neck. Every day I watch her. The way she walks, talks, eats, drinks, and sleeps. Day, noon, and night, I'm always there. That smooth white skin. The long flowing brown hair flying in the breeze. Those ocean blue eyes. Every day I follow her around. I know her daily routine like the back of my own hand. She starts off her morning at Starbucks and orders the caramel macchiato. Goes to work and joins her coworkers for morning chit-chat and gossip. The morning goes by and when lunchtime rolls around, all of them meet at this cafe nearby. They're known for their bakery items. They all talk about their relationships and try to top one another on the quality of their lives. Lunch passes by and it's time to end the day. She has a boyfriend, of course. A basic guy that gets around. He's cheating on her, but she keeps him around for his money, and since he's the only one who can pleasure her. Don't worry, you won't have to worry about that piece of garbage anymore. I just dumped his body into a lake nearby this morning. Posted on his social media account that he's going out of time. He does it all the time, so it's not a big surprise to anyone. The day ends and my favorite activity comes around. I enter her house before she catches the bus back home. I slip a light amount of roofies into her juice. It's one that she drinks every night before bed. I wait an hour until she goes to bed. She blacks out as soon as her body touches the bed. I then proceed to join her and stroke her hair. Just a few more days, my dear. A few more loose ends to wrap up, and soon you'll be mine, I whisper into her ear as I pull her body close. She probably won't accept my love, but in time I'll break her down and she'll take a liking to me. I guarantee it. Being dead is a lot different than I imagined. When the car hit me, it hurt worse than anything I'd ever felt. The kind of pain you never forget, and in too many places for me to concentrate on any one spot. I just had the general sense that I was coming apart. But worse than the pain was the feeling of nothing which came soon after. I was in exquisite suffering one moment, and then felt absolutely nothing the next. I still saw the headlights of oncoming traffic swerving around my broken, crumpled mass, but I did not feel the agonizing pain any longer. The asphalt below me was there, but I suddenly couldn't feel the tiny pebble digging into my cheek which, even as I lay dying, had annoyed me. Though feeling had gone, sight and sound remained. When the driver of the car which had plowed through me got out and ran to me screaming, I heard the horror of what she'd done in her voice. When the paramedics arrived and pronounced me dead at the scene, I saw their passive, uncaring expressions and wondered if I was the 10th they'd seen this week. When the body bag zipper caught on my torn sweatshirt and they had to fight with it, I looked on in speechless wonder, not yet accepting what had already happened. I was there as my body lay naked on the mortician's table, blinding lights above me though I was unable to look away. I stared through my dead eyes at the ceiling above, desiring to change my field of view but finding it impossible now that my body no longer responded to my commands. I watched the rafters shift and sway behind the lights as my head rocked with their efforts to harvest my organs and then put me back together. The worst, so I thought at the time, came during my funeral. I had to stare up at the infinitely blue sky as my friends and family wept all around me, then came up one by one to say words they thought I'd never truly hear. They had no idea that I stared back at them through eyes which had already started to decay. As I mourned my own life, they shut the lid and lowered me into the ground. The immediate darkness was a shock, and I discovered that in addition to sorrow, I could still feel fear. It washed over me in radiant waves, saturating a body I no longer possessed. I lay here still, in my silent grave. My life is over, but my consciousness remains, regardless of what I believed in life. I have no idea if I'm the only one or if the graves all around me are filled with others similarly trapped within their own rotting corpses. I am left with memories of the times I had before this darkness, and the fear that this fate will last an eternity.